Well, that was kind of interesting, but I honestly don't think that much happened because most of the episode was get rid of Ben, get rid of Ben, and then there was a little bit of dynamic between no, not Devin and Ashley. Ashley with either Devin or Chrissy. So, yeah, not too much happened, honestly. But whatever. So, that reward challenge, that was a nice challenge. How, Mike and Ryan were actually able to make up the difference. And then ring toss. Who would have thought it would be so hard? Because I was like, totally expecting someone to get on a lucky streak, and it seemed like Ben was on a lucky streak, but then he came up short. Just. How did no one actually ace that? And I was really a bit surprised that Ashley was actually trying to help Ben out so much in that challenge, because you would think that with everyone so opposed to Ben, she'd be either trying to throw it or hoping that he doesn't do so good. But, I guess she really wanted to go on a reward. And then her getting pissed that she wasn't chosen, well, I do kind of get it, because Devin in the previous episode had been saying that he and Ashley were buddy-buddy. But at the same time, though, when it's a team effort, group dynamics play a factor in your decision, and people do behave differently when they work with other people than when they're alone, because I really wouldn't be too surprised if I have like a big task to do, say, just move a whole bunch of supplies, just go with that basic example that I would behave differently on my own than if someone else is with me ordering me around. I really would not be too surprised given my little idiosyncrasies in my behavior, right? So then the only other real topic of discussion was, is Ben going to find another idol or not? And just when I had begun to think that he wouldn't find it, he ends up finding a clue to one idol, which I guess makes sense because all the idols had been played before then, saying that it was underneath the shelter. And even though they're trying to show a little bit of doubt, in my mind, I'm like, he's going to get it, because he doesn't really need much of a head start. If he just, is getting out of the shelter, pretends to trip but falls sideways, and then peeks underneath the shelter, that's all he needs to figure out his approximate location. Because, he doesn't have to push himself up, like, instantly and all that stuff, even though why would you be on the ground? Shrug. Although it does seem like Mike and Ryan appear to have a big habit of sleeping on the sand dune in front of their camp. So it seemed kind of obvious to me that he would get it. And then as for that immunity, though, I had begun to think that he would win, though, but turns out Chrissy ended up pulling it out, and I was impressed by that. Man, she's turning into a formidable competitor, and then if she's actually able to win both of the finale's immunities, even though I don't think she will, she'll have tied the record for women winning immunities, consecutive and non-consecutive, even if you factor in returning players, it's still the same. Crazy, huh? Right, so then at Tribal, Ben does another first for this season, and then he pulls out the idol and then plays it beforehand, stating, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Well, to be honest, I don't think he should have done that, because, it would have given a little more power to his vote, even though, it did seem like, in my opinion, that Ashley was getting put under the bus, because even before he found it, you know how Ashley was saying, well, who's Ben voting for? I started analyzing the discussions between everybody and getting the feel from the episode, and I'm like, this feels like Sierra when she was eliminated in Worlds Apart. I'm thinking that she's going to get thrown under the bus here, even though everybody keeps saying Mike, 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 Mike. Yeah, because, even though Ben pointed to Mike, in a way, one could argue that actually saved Mike, because if getting rid of Mike is what Ben wants, Do you really want to give him something that he wants, eh? And even then, what's to say that wasn't just a diversionary tactic? Because I can't remember if he pointed to Mike after he actually handed it over to Jeff. So, Ben ends up saving himself again, and then Ashley gets voted out in a somewhat surprising vote out. Yeah. Devin, man, you've taken a couple of hits in these last couple of episodes. And I'm not too picky about her going because of the winning pick. I knew that picking her as a top pick was a bad decision, but something told me pick somebody who doesn't seem likely, because I was like, Mike, there was something about him at the start of this merge that told me don't put him up there. And Ryan, I kept thinking something's going to happen to him, and yet he's made it, even though he's taken several hits along the way, so, Right. So now we're down to 5 people left, which means that this finale shouldn't be as jam-packed. Thank you. Ugh. Come on, is it really so hard to plan people's eliminations accordingly? Come on. Right. So let's talk about where everybody stands. Okay, so first of all, Mike. People argue that he's got an underdog story going on, but I honestly don't think he's got much more momentum. Oh, sure, now he actually does have a voice in the group dynamics, okay, but it's really not much of a voice. Devin and Chrissy are clearly doing more in that dynamic there, and Ryan has a little bit of a resume to show for it compared to him, so even though people say that he has an argument, I just cannot see how he can pull this out. To be honest with you. Right. Ryan, well, he was good early on, but starting like when Desi was voted out, we've heard like nothing from him. He's just slid down in the rankings. His idol was forfeited, even though since then I don't think he's ever gotten a vote or was ever really talked about in the serious matter of being voted out. Yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, I don't really have strong hopes for that guy. He's really got to hope that more obvious threats to him get booted, and then the jury decides to stick it to people sitting behind him. So I think ideally for him, he wants Devin and Ben out, and then hope that the jury sticks it to Chrissy. So Chrissy, well, she's actually the opposite of Ryan. Not too much to her at the start, but then she's been kind of emerging a little bit, because even though she's been winning immunities, which I think definitely has helped her out, she's been getting more of a voice, like with Mike, but her decisions actually have some sway. Now, to be fair, okay, in, which tribe was she on? The Yellow Tribe, you know, she was partially responsible for getting Ryan to do his actions, but Rorik going, I honestly think that was Ryan's decision only. I think, what was it? Allie going, that had a lot more to do with Chrissy in hindsight. You can argue that, but right, so she's definitely getting more of a voice, but at the same time, she does have, some issues to work out on that jury, because Lauren and Ashley, she's pissed off. If Devin was to go, I bet he'd be pissed off at her as well. I wish I knew how Joe felt about her. But a couple of those other people on there, they could be willing to vote for her, but I don't think she has anyone locked. She really needs a good argument and good people to be up against. But something tells me she's going to make it to the end, so that's that prediction. Devin, well, he's just been receiving hit after hit these past couple of rounds, even though at the beginning I thought that he would just be a nut, but no, he's actually caused quite a lot of impact in this game, even though one can argue that like just about everybody this season has been a player somehow. Right. So if he makes it to the end, he'd have a decent argument, but I'd have to actually see what he says. Yeah. And will he make it? Part of me thinks he will, part of me won't, because, like, even though he said, you know, that Ben should have voted for him because he's a physical threat, Ashley has won more immunities than him, and I think Chrissy has as well, so, yeah. It's actually Ben that hasn't won any of the immunities, believe it or not. And then as for Ben, well, it's going to be hard for him to make it because he needs to, like, win at least one challenge here. Odds are if he makes it, he will win, but I don't know, just this cast has been kind of surprising to me, and I really wouldn't be too surprised if the game shakes it up again. So it does make sense to say that he'd have a lock if he makes it, but I'm just not that comfortable, even though I did put him as a winner pick, and there's tons of hype around him, yeah. So, odds are, everybody's saying that it's Ben or Devin taking it. Call me crazy, I'm going to argue that it's Ben or Chrissy taking it. We'll see.